Hello everyone, I am back and just going to add Bariah at Strand and Mom once I see some viewers pop up. Give me a second. I'm pretty new to this. Give me a second. Thank you everyone for joining us. Okay. So Fatma's just laughing at me. I see that you guys, some of you are here. Bariah, if you're on, just wave or send a message. Is that lipstick? Sophia's asking. No, that's my natural look, actually. This is my... Thank you, Melina, who says Bariah's on her own page waiting for me. Hi, Maslina. Okay, guys, bear with me for like a few minutes, okay? I'm new to this. I'm actually surprised that they're even letting me do this because I'm a social media dinosaur. And the truth is, I don't have an Instagram account. I'm using Smile's account, and they basically never ever let me use the account, even though I'm the executive director. But, you know, like, we don't have any power. So they don't let me use an account because I keep posting the wrong things. Maslina's just laughing at me. Okay, Bariah, I'm going to try and find you here. Search. Give me a second, people. Everyone's telling me to join Instagram. No, thank you. She's asking you to join her. Okay. So I guess I'm joining her. Sure. Okay, no, she's coming here, guys. We're sorting it out. Isn't she here? I don't know. I don't know how this works. Okay, she said she's coming. We are practicing social distancing, which means when she says she's coming, it doesn't mean she's actually coming. It means she's just gonna pop up. Yeah. Strand and Mom, hey! Alrighty, so... Ah! Hello, Bariah. She says she's here, baby. Go live. We're doing it.
Oh, half my head is gone.
We did it. Okay.
How do I?
Oh,
I'll move back.
yeah, I don't see my head.
Oh, that's okay. Nobody wants to see you. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that.
I even attempted to.
I'm a little like nervous, so I'm just gonna like over talk.
You're nervous. I spent the last
Yeah.
minutes going.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be honest with you.
Even my owl. Oh my God. Wait, let me move my owl down.
So they're asking where my face is.
There we go.
Your camera. No, my camera. Oh shoot. Oh. Oh.
Yay!
Oh God. Oh my God. I think I'm so incompetent after this.
Assalamualaikum.
Oh my God.
How are you?
Good. Alhamdulillah.
I'm okay. So I was practicing going live because I've never actually gone live before, okay? And then all these people joined, so I just started talking to them.
Yeah. So I got some great comments. Like somebody asked if I was wearing lipstick. No, this is my natural color, obviously.
I filled in my eyebrows, but this one is not so filled. This one is a little bit more filled.
Yeah, you know what to do. I will give a shout out to Buhi Salon in Mississauga. I miss you guys. But anyway, so let's get started. I am so excited to have you on because I just think you are absolutely so hilarious. And no, really, you're so funny. And today is Autism Awareness Day. And so we...
It is. That's why I'm blue. And so is my owl.
And your owl. So is my wall.
Right?
I painted it just for today.
You're so dedicated.
Yeah. You guys want to see? That's a blue wall there. See?
Yeah.
Just for today.
That's investment. Good.
Yeah, not gonna lie, it was the people who lived here before, but they are, you know, they're with it. You know, power to them. Okay, so let's get started. So nobody wants to hear about me. Tell me about, or tell our viewers rather. I don't know what we call them, viewers, attendees, whatever. Tell them about yourself.
Who cares? I don't know half of them anyway. No, I'm just kidding. I know like 5 people in real life. That's it. I don't know who these people are. I saw my brother-in-law. I was like, oh my God, my brother-in-law is on there watching my live. Okay, no, I know a lot of my followers because we exchange messages. I'm just being facetious. Okay, so I am a mom of 4. I was gonna say mom of 5. I was like, no, I'm not a mom of 5. Mom of 4. It feels like 5 sometimes. And like everybody else, I am in isolation in my house with, can you guys hear me? Am I too loud? Am I yelling?
No.
With 4 of my kids, okay? So a lot of people are like, oh my God, that must be so hard. But you know, I was previously a homeschooler, so I homeschooled for 10 years, right? So that's like my homeschool background. And then 10 years after that, I was like, okay, I'm ready to end my homeschooling career. These people need to go somewhere else. And I'm just gonna go back to work. So I started work last August. I went back to work. And everything was going really great. And then now this coronavirus, and we're back to homeschooling again. And my kids are so happy about it. They're like, yay! We don't have to wake up early, because for them, going to school was a big transition and a big change. And now everybody's gone back to their normal routines of their previous life. I have a teenager with autism. He's 14. He turned 14. Just this March. So March break, his birthday is always on March break. And yeah, so that's my connection to Autism Awareness Day. He's been in school so I stopped homeschooling him before I stopped homeschooling the other kiddos who were younger than him. And he's been in public school here in Peel for the last 3 years. So he did like some of grade 5 and then all of middle school in public school. So that was my sort of introduction to public school, because previously I'd never dealt with the school system or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So you were a homeschooler for a while. So is this like, is social isolation for you, or this social distancing? Sorry, it's not social isolation, although it is. Whatever it's called. Is this really like is it weighing really heavy on you and the family?
Okay, I have to tell you something. Okay, I have to tell you something. So when we were homeschooling, it was me and my kids, okay?
Yeah.
And that was great. I was the queen clergy of my household. But I'm in isolation now with my mom
Oh,
and my husband. So there's 7 of us, okay? And that's what's hard. Nobody should be in isolation with their husband, okay? It should be like canceled because I mean, it's not good for anybody's marriage, I'm telling you, or
so
anybody's parenting.
there was an article, I don't know if it's true. My sister sent it to like our little WhatsApp group about like the government of Malaysia or something sending out a notice about wives don't nag your husbands during COVID. I was gonna say it should be the other way around, but anyways, I digress. So you have experience with them being home though, and like their school, but just you know, especially for your child with autism, like just the whole situation of just like everything being shut down, not being able to go to a park, not being able to kind of like hang out with friends or family, is like, how is that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, jokes aside, I mean, this is not really homeschooling for anybody. I mean, even if you're like one of those people who don't want to be around people, this is extreme, right? Most homeschoolers, they rely on the community, they rely on other families, and we use the resources that are out in the community, the museums, the libraries. Oh my God, I'm so sad about my library. Or just a change of scene. And I don't know if people who follow me on Instagram know that I spend all my time outside. I actually don't spend time indoors. So that's a big loss or a big change for us, right? We're trying to make it work. We're very grateful that, you know, we have a backyard and front porch. A lot of families don't always have those things. So it becomes challenging. So yeah, it is different for them. They don't get to see their school friends or their homeschooling friends. My son's been not used to homeschooling anymore. He's been out of school, out of homeschool and in public school for this many years. So he's missing his teachers, and he often like scripts or talks about his school friends or the friends that he's with in school. Yeah, the classmates. He's in a special education classroom. So there's about like 8 or 9 kids in his class. So in Ontario, because a lot of my followers or people who are joining are not from Canada. So in Ontario, we have like a regular school, and then you'll have specialized classrooms inside or different settings for the kids inside the public school. So there can be a separate classroom, which is called a contained classroom. Or you could be in a normal classroom, like a regular classroom with other children who don't have a diagnosis, and you can have a support worker there. So my son has always been in a contained or specialized classroom in a regular middle school in Ontario.
So what, if any, what tips would you give, you know, parents who have children with special needs or children with disabilities who are in this like really crazy situation? I mean, you know, it's not easy for anyone, but I think especially for children, you know, it's difficult. It's hard to understand. Would you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, you know, it's a process. Like even for us, like we have some experience of being at home together, right? And over the years that I was homeschooling, I learned a lot about my own behaviors around my children, and learned a lot about, you know, what my limitations are. Also, remember, I'm also not working from home, right? I'm actually just home. My job is temporarily just, you know, shut down right now. So a lot of moms are actually working from home and have children at home right now as well. So that's a completely different challenge. So you're right, it is very difficult. And for a lot of people, homeschooling might be a new thing, or just having the child at home might be a new thing. I don't presume to give any tips to anybody. Everybody's child is so different. Like Khalid, who's my son with autism, is a very, you know, he's one type of person, and I know friends who have younger children with autism is a completely different situation, or they have children who are very different from Khalid. They might have different behaviors or learned behaviors in the home environment that are difficult to handle or difficult to deal with. So for us, like I said, we have some experience, and for some people it's completely new. The one thing that I will say is just be gentle with yourself. I know people are like, oh, be gentle with the kids, but be gentle with yourself. And forgive yourself, because the quality, you have to remember that the quality of life of somebody with a disability is sometimes as good as the quality of life of their caregiver. Okay, if you're just being really hard on yourself, or if you're having breakdowns, or if you have all these problems, then the quality of the care that you're giving is going to not be so great. Okay, so I do that. If I wake up in the morning and I'm like all grumpy or actually, I don't start anything or do anything. I was like, okay, everybody just go do whatever they want. You know, eat what you want. If you want to start by sitting on the computer and playing whatever, I don't care, Minecraft, do that. Who cares? And then, so, you know, you have to watch over the years, like from practice or trial and error, I've learned to watch my own moods and what I can and cannot do, because I know that my ability to teach or my ability to handle a behavior is going to be as good as my overall well-being. So that's my takeaway from this. Also, this is fairly new, right? I mean, it's only been a few weeks. I always drool when I drink water. Always. That's why I have this hijab. So I just go like this, you know.
That's what. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm for. Let me show it to you again. Actually, you can take another sip. I'll show you how it's done. Okay, just watch everybody.
I love this.
So sip and then just like that.
You don't have any sort of tips there. You've already got a few comments about how wise you are. So just saying.
Yeah. So like I was saying, so this is fairly new for a lot of families. Okay, so give yourself time to learn. It might take you a month, or I don't know, took me years. But if you're if you're in pandemic mode and you're speed learning, your learning curve is, you know, give yourself some time to figure things out. And even for me, like my son has been in school, like I said, for 3 years. With my typical children, okay, I already had all the workbooks and I had the resources and I had the little network that I'm communicating with online now, like my homeschooling friends. But with my son, I've fallen into some bad habits of, you know, because I delegated that task to the school system over the last 3 or 4 years, and I have him ready, and I had another schedule, and now it's different. So I'm easing into it, and I'm collaborating with his teacher. I text her every day. God bless that woman. She's amazing. So don't be afraid to ask questions. Okay. Don't be afraid to call your teacher or text her, whatever mode of communication you have with her. And don't, like, you know, like I said, with the special needs children, with Khalid, I'm not taking on too much on myself. I started with a simple website that the teacher shared with me. It's called Moby Max. It's something they use in his classroom already. And I tried doing some of that with him. I also found an online curriculum called Easy Peasy Online Homeschool, because I literally Googled easy way to homeschool autistic child. I think, oh, that's good. That's a good name. So Easy Peasy Online Homeschool. And it did look easy peasy. So we do some, and you know, it happened to be something that was at his level. But if you haven't found anything yet and your kid is just on their Nintendo Switch, don't worry about it. Okay, keep looking. You will find something. And every child's level, or they might not even have that relationship with you. They might not even accept you as a teacher who teaches them, you know, does busy work with them or does academics with them. Remember to reinforce your children a lot. Because this is like a new behavior that you're teaching them, right? Is taking instruction from you. Why should they do it if there's nothing in it for them, right? So like with Khalid, because we're easing back into it, he does literally like 10, 15 minutes of the website. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you can go back on Minecraft for the rest of the day. Like reinforce big and reward big. And then you can scale back a little bit. And just remember that, you know, if you might have a child with a lot of behaviors at home, and now you're stuck seeing those behaviors morning to evening, right? and is driving you nuts, and you're like trying to tackle everything at once. You cannot tackle everything at once. Okay. So, and there's actually something funny. So there's a behavior that's a big like controversy in my household right now. And I posted it on my stories. So my son, he likes to hold my bum and he likes to shake. I know it's so weird, but he likes to do that. Now, whenever I'm dealing with a behavior with my son,
Yeah.
you always have to ask yourself the question, you have to be ethical, right? And you need to ask yourself, am I bothered by it because it's bad for me, or is it really affecting the quality of his life? Okay. So like I said, I'm not quarantined alone. I'm quarantined with my mom and my husband. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not bothering me.
Yeah.
It's not hurting me. He's not doing it to anyone else. He hasn't like generalized his behavior to his teachers or his siblings or my mom or my husband. He only does it with me. It's a joke that he does with me. He doesn't have a lot of language. He can't really have a conversation with me. We're together all the time. This is something he does. Now, I'm not giving it too much attention because obviously I don't want to encourage this way of social interaction that you go up to somebody and wiggle their bum and watch the perpetual motion or whatever it is that he's enjoying. But so I'm like, let's just leave it. Okay. I don't react to it. If it's getting too much, I move his hand away and I just talk about something else. Like, oh, tell me about this, or which level are you in Luigi Mansion 3 or whatever game he's playing. Yeah. Now, my mom and my husband, they don't agree with this method, and they're just go, let's stop it. So they lose it because it looks really inappropriate, right? So there's a lot of things you need to think about when you're stuck with a whole bunch of behaviors. For me, I'm easing into a new kind of relationship with my son of teaching and instruction. I have to choose which battles I'm going to pick every day. Okay? Yeah. This is a battle I've chosen not to pick. And I feel like a lot of parents might be in that situation where they're at home with, there's a behavior that bothers the dads a lot, but doesn't bother the mom too much because she's just so used to it and she sees it all the time. So you can't tackle everything at once. Pick your battles, like in any parenting situation. So right now I'm kind of just like, I leave it. I'm not dealing with it. But then there's some behaviors that you have to put your foot down. Like, this is not happening. So one of the things, recurring issues over like many years, this is not something new. And this is something that a lot of parents with children with autism deal with, is the waking up in the night and coming in your room and waking you up. Yeah. I'm not having that. No, thank you. Get out. So there's a 0 tolerance policy for that. My son actually doesn't come and bother me anymore because over the years, because of the 0 tolerance, we faded that behavior. But he's starting to bother my mom now. He goes into her room. Because she loses it on him. So I have to kind of so you might be like I said, a lot of families are now together all the time. Yep. And I honestly, I feel like, you need to pick and choose what you're going to deal with. You really need to think about, for example, this behavior that we're talking about, it doesn't really affect Khalid's quality of life right now. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it. I mean, if it was something that was hurting him, getting in the way of his learning, I would deal with it immediately, right? And so a lot of the times, parents or caregivers sometimes will get stuck on a behavior that is really not such a big deal. Just leave it and pick something else. For example, last summer, this is another well-documented thing on my Instagram. My son was ripping his clothes. So all summer, it started with him picking out threads from stitching on his clothing. And then literally he would undo entire seams and until everything came apart. And then he would start picking at the fabric. And it was like something he was doing all the time. Yeah. And it was something that's definitely a socially significant behavior. Yeah. It's ruining your life. It's ruining your clothes, like his life. It's not really maybe when I'm in public with him and he's in like rags, it makes me look bad. But other than that, it doesn't really affect me that much. So again, when you're with a person who has a special need, you need to ask yourself, is what I'm like trying to change good for them, or is it good for me? Sometimes it might be good for both of us, like the clothes. I mean, I don't want to keep buying clothes. I'm gonna go broke. So I dealt with that behavior that, it took us a long time and it ended. So just pay attention to those little things. Think about things objectively and without being too reactive and emotional. And I know I don't take a lot of things too seriously. You need to relax.
Yeah.
Although you can't tell people to relax, because then the opposite happens.
Especially in the middle of an argument.
Especially moms. You can't tell a mom to just relax. No, you relax.
I'm relaxed.
Don't tell a woman to relax. Don't ever do that. Yeah. Don't do that. People.
People are listening. Oh, someone can be their mom. I don't know. Do you want 5?
That's my sister. Just ignore her. She's going to say the most annoying things. I love you. Love you.
Okay, so I have another question for you. And by the way, we can stop whenever you want to stop.
Yeah. Oh, who's that? Somebody's coming in. Who's that? Oh, hey, Khalid, come here. He only wants me when he wants a password to a device. Khalid, say, oh, where are you? Listen, slowly go.
Like,
his hair grows so fast. Like, he needs another haircut. He's tapping my back right now. Okay, give me. I'll put the password for you. Yeah. He wants a password. What was your other question?
So I was just given today is Autism Awareness Day, and a lot of the time our communities are not very aware.
Get the door out. Close the door. Sorry.
What would you tell people? Like, for example, what would you tell people to raise awareness? Like, we find with working with years, we're talking about inclusion, talking about accessibility, but for a lot of people, it's not always the topic that people are interested in, to be honest. So
like the topic of raising awareness?
Just the topic of raising awareness about raising disability awareness about autism, awareness about our different needs, awareness about inclusion or accessibility. Mm-hmm. What would you tell people in the community? Like, why is this important?
Why is it important? Unless I feel like, okay, so Khalid is a part, or your child with disability is a part of this community. Okay. And inclusion, acceptance, it starts in the home first. Okay. So a lot of the times something that's something that causes us pain or is not the way we wanted it to be, we tend to just go into denial and ignore it or put it away. Or we feel like we're burdening others with our problems. But you're entitled to things in this community, and your child or your person who you're looking after in your household who has a disability is also entitled. They're entitled to participate. And if it's not going to be you, then who's going to do it? Right? Yeah. So just do it. Just if you want them to participate in the mosque or in some kind of, I don't know, social program, go in there and do it. For like we did that for many years when Khalid was at home with me and I was homeschooling him. I was his support worker in the preschool program that he was in. Whether it was swimming class, skating class, or going to the masjid, or in our Muslim homeschool group, he would go everywhere with us. And even to this day, I make it a point to take him everywhere with me. Yeah. I mean, obviously, if he wants to, because now he's a teenager, he's like, I don't want to go. So, don't feel like you're burdening others with your problems. I feel like that's one thing, because even in my household, we have different opinions or different a difference of opinion. So my husband, he's not ashamed of his child with autism, but he does have that personality where he feels that he doesn't want to burden other people with his problems. So don't feel that way, because your child has those rights too, right? Just as the other children running around in the masjid. And if you look closely, now that I have typical children, I realize that they're a lot nastier than he is. So it wasn't, they get away with a lot. And together as a unit, we advocate for him. And also, your whatever you're feeling is valid. So even if you have siblings, or you have other children like his siblings, sometimes they're embarrassed by the things that he does as they're growing older. Like the other day, I remember I went to pick them up from school, and he was having a full-on meltdown. And I feel like, okay, I was like, maybe it's not a good idea to leave him alone at home. Who knows, he might break something or punch a hole in the wall. I'll take him with me. And he swore at me all the way to the school, and then in the playground, in front of their friends. Each of my children had a different reaction to his behavior. So my little one, she's, has no problem with this whatsoever. She focuses on him. And so does my other daughter. But my middle child, my other child, they were a little bit like, oh, why did you bring him? And because it does become like a social, like a situation for them. So those feelings are valid. Don't be like, oh, don't feel that way. Or, this is special and da, da, da. No, you have to validate everybody's feelings, your husband's feelings, your whoever you're with. And then you have to, it is like, I don't know, unfortunately or whatever, but it is your job to shape those behaviors too. So just as you're dealing with the behaviors of your child, it's your job to shape the behaviors of the people in your local masjid. It's your job to shape the behaviors of anybody that you're coming into contact with. Obviously, don't get into fights. Don't be like in the Walmart parking lot. You're like, I'm gonna be. No, you don't be like that. So you have to pick and choose your battles. But and people are gonna stare at you. I've been in so many situations. I've been asked to leave. I remember once I was with my homeschool group. Okay, and my son was obsessed with belly button, and he was very young. He was only 5 years old. And he kept lifting one of the girls' shirts, like she was his age too, and she didn't mind. She was just lying there. She's like, "Oh yeah, just have your way with me." And he kept lifting her shirt, looking at her belly button, and then inching the shirt back, and he kept doing it. She didn't care. Nobody cared. But there were people there who thought, "Oh my God, this is so inappropriate," as if a 5-year-old or a 2-year-old or a little kid has never done that before, right?
Yeah.
And we were asked to leave. They told us to go away, and we laughed because we were not in the mood to fight. But sometimes I asked that lady, I was like, why, what's your problem? Come on, you need to we will leave because we don't want to cause problems for other people, but or we don't want to ruin our own mood, and we've been here for a few hours, so we've got our money's worth. So in that moment I decided to leave. But stuff happens, but you can't like dwell on it and then cry about it for the rest of your life. You just need to, like have a sense of humor, just laugh it off, because what are you going to do? I mean, this is forever. Okay. So your children who are 3 right now, they will be 13 and 33. And they're still going to, be autistic or whatever their diagnosis is. So you might as well learn to enjoy it, because you're in it for a long, long time.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go to the comment section for a second. So I guess that's what it's called, the comment section. I don't know. But Khatija's just saying, I'm amazed that you can laugh through your experiences. And you mentioned humor. Is that something that you do on purpose, or is it like just something that comes to you naturally to just kind of just see that lighter side?
Yeah, I was just born like this. Yeah, I was born with it. I don't know. No, I get mad, and I get mad at my son. And I do get frustrated. I'm just like, oh my God, why were you born this way? I do things like that. But you have to be honest with yourself. And like I said in the beginning, that you have to forgive yourself, okay? And you have to forgive others too. I mean, just you can't carry that around. Unless he's your husband, you can't forgive him. Because he needs to learn. don't. Yeah, no, really, he needs to get on board with this thing. But I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I've come to the point where I know who I can change, who I can't change. I can change myself, so I do that all the time. My children, my other like little three kids, those are like blank, it's like slates, like sponges. Like you shake them into whatever I want. But again, that's like wishful thinking, because everybody's born with a personality. My daughter has a certain personality. She takes everything very seriously. She's an anxious kind of a person, and she's good, but she's good with the responsibility. So we handle that differently. And then my other children there's one of my children likes to provoke my son a lot. That's her way of interacting with him. And she does this sometimes in like situations where it's not, I can't always handle, like in the car. Like, come on, we're driving, and it becomes too much. Or she'll do it when we're somewhere else, and then it will bring on a behavior. But again, they're learning. Okay, so we can shape their behavior. So you need to think about what's reinforcing for that person. What setting or what can I do to build that relationship? Okay, and then you facilitate it. So with my husband, he does feel left out of how do I interact with Holly. He doesn't always see this humor in all the situations, but you can give them little tasks to do. So these days, his job is to make sure that my son walks on the treadmill every day. And that's something small that they can do together. And with my daughter, I'll give her little tasks to do with her brother. He loves her company. He'll do anything for her. So they have a special bond. So again, use what you got. Use the resources around you, the people around you, and don't feel ashamed about it. If you have people in your immediate family, like your cousins or somebody who's really great with children, create opportunities. I'm always advertising, like I'll pay you $10 an hour. Come do this. Yeah. Because you never know what's gonna work. So I think that just being relentless, having a sense of humor makes you relentless, makes you come back. We have a lot of breakdowns, but just laughing about it, or not taking it too seriously, or just forgiving yourself for not doing the right thing in the moment, puts you in the mindset, okay, I'm going to try again and just make this work tomorrow. And right now I'm not just doing anything. And educate yourself, okay? There's lots of books. Now it's like, there's so many resources available.
Yeah.
Read studies. I remember like in the early days of following so many like scientific blogs and doing my own research and reading so many studies on this and that. I actually have a really good book that I kept. I was going to suggest it. It's a layman's book, okay? And I love the way this guy talks about autism. He has a couple of books. This is one. It's going to be back to front. I'll post it on my, but the person's name is Bill Nason, and he's Bill Nason. Okay. And it's called the Autism Discussion Page, because he has a Facebook page that he hasn't paid me to advertise it. I just really like the way his book is written, and it's easy to read. You don't have to be like, you don't have to have a degree in psychology to understand what they're saying, and it doesn't have things of what should I do if somebody's doing this. It kind of gives you a sort of like a perspective on how to think about things. And honestly, I feel like counseling should become mandatory for anybody who gets a diagnosis. All parents, we need to advocate for this. Like, I'm gonna write a letter or something. I don't know, but I feel like counseling should be mandatory, because I could have really used some counseling in the early days. And maybe that's something we can do in the communities, as some counseling for the parents. Parents have to be willing, though. I mean, now 13 years later, I'm like, yeah, some counseling would have been good. But I don't know if at the time I would have agreed to counseling, but I feel like, yeah, that would have helped.
Yeah. Well, this is really great. I mean, I've learned a lot from you, and I think you are absolutely hilarious. I try to be, but it doesn't come across as smoothly, not gonna lie. Anyways, we are gonna post the name of that book on our website. We actually have a list of children's books that talk about kids with autism, because our hope is that all kids are reading about other kids, like kids with different abilities from different backgrounds, different experiences. We need to just raise awareness about differences, diversity, and talk to our kids about it. Because if we talk to our kids about it, like when our kids see somebody who might not be verbal, or when our kids see somebody who might be doing certain behaviors, they won't jump to say that it's abnormal or it's wrong.
And they're missing out. People who don't know somebody with,
yeah.
You're missing out. It is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And like my son adds so much value to everybody. I mean, I'm not saying that that's his purpose. Okay, I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is why he was created, to add value. No, he's a person and an entity on his own. And but why miss out on one entire population of the community? It's something to enjoy, something to include, something. If you go at it with an open mind, then who knows? It might change the way you think about things and add some value to your life, or it might not, which is okay too.
So I don't know if this is another relative of yours, Sabr or Shukr, but they're saying you're a breath of fresh air.
No, I don't know. Who are you? Who are you, Sabr, Shukr? You're cool.
They said thank you for being honest on your profile.
Probably one of my followers. Oh, they're all so sweet.
No, you are a breath of fresh air, and I look forward to more chats if they let me do this again, because of that whole initial, I don't really know how to.
Oh, that's okay.
Thing. But yeah, if I'm allowed on again, I would love to do a follow-up sometime when you're free. But this has been really great. We will share this story with the world. Please follow at Stranded Mom. Do I say that? Like at Stranded Mom? Yeah, with the at symbol.
I should have. Oh my god! Next time I'm gonna have like Stranded Mom, like a thing. I made this set, okay, before I came on live. This owl doesn't live here. I put this here because it's literally a wall with writing on it that my kids have written. I don't know if you can see. So next time we should have like a thing, and then you should have like a smile thing behind you.
Oh, your sibling is nice. They gave me the answer at Stranded. I will not take that, But do you have a hashtag? I don't know why I'm like doing all these symbols.
I know. No, maybe I should.
All right, I don't know. Either
it's
do I.
About time. Today I will create a hashtag.
Yeah. So follow at Stranded Mom. Follow at Smile Canada. Hopefully we'll have another conversation. This is really great, and we will share it if I can save it correctly. And
yeah, it gives you an option in the end, okay? So there's going to be 2 options, and then you share it on your story.
So that's what I'm going to do, inshallah. And take a look at the Smile blog, because we have some resources up there. And, we'll share the resources, if you don't mind, the book. It was backwards, so I couldn't really.
That's okay, I'll post it. I'll post it to death until everybody knows what it is.
Anybody watching, if you have some stories to share, some pictures, some videos, just share them, because we should all hear from each other.
No, you're awesome, and thank you for having me. I'm gonna go eat this pizza that's been waiting for me downstairs. My kid came upstairs and she was like, there's hot pizza that just came out of the oven. Do you want it? I was like, no, I'm doing an Instagram live. That was my level of commitment for this live, okay? Just so you know, I'm saying it again.
That's good.
So I'm gonna go reheat that pizza and eat it.
Okay, well, we appreciate it. Thank you, and have a rest of the day.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Who chimed in?
We're going to stay on. We're never going to leave.